Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Jundef. I can't be at school today, so I'm sending you this presentation so you know what to expect for next week's first ever Shabbat around the world Skype with Brazil. These are the different topics we're going to go over today: Skype etiquette, interview preparation, interview jobs, order of events, wrap up and reflection. You need to remember that when you are doing a Skype with another school, you are representing Solomon Schechter, and you need to be on your very best behavior. This is not a time to joke around. This is not a time to be silly. This is a time to be on your very best behavior, pay attention, and be very courteous and respectful to the guest class that we have invited into our classroom. I do not want to see anybody acting inappropriately, or they will be asked to leave immediately. Remember, only one person speaks at a time. When you go up to the microphone to speak, you must look right into the camera, not at the screen, into the camera, and you must state your questions very clearly. English might not necessarily be their first language, so you must make sure that you're speaking very clearly and wait for their answer. I don't want anybody yelling out from the audience. I don't want anybody interrupting the person asking the questions. Before the interview, you have to prepare. So you're probably going to do this today after you watch this presentation. I want you to split up into your groups after the presentation, and you're going to decide on what questions you need to ask. So I want you to meet with your groups, talk with the other members of your group, figure out the questions you are having problems getting answers to. These are the questions you've been looking on Google and you can't seem to find the answers. Then decide on your 10 most important questions. Work together to word them very simply and clearly, because again, English is not their first language, so you have to be very, very clear with your questions. Decide on the 10 most important questions and then write it very neatly, or if you're in the computer lab, you can type it and print it. You can provide some additional questions that if you have extra time, you can ask these questions at the end. Once you've written your list of interview questions, I suggest you make enough copies of it for each member of your group. Maybe Maura can photocopy it. If not, you'll have to all copy them down. Everybody in your group will get a job. You're going to decide on the jobs before your interview. Brazil will be next week, so that is the first group that definitely needs to decide on their jobs. The other groups can wait until we actually book the Skype. The jobs are inquirers, data recorders, documentarian, audience manager, and then the audience is everybody else. The inquirers are the people conducting the interview. They are the only people asking the questions. It should be 1 or 2 people from your group. That is it. Data recorders are 2 people who will type in all of the answers to the questions. They can write and type. Maybe one person will type, one person will write. Maybe you'll both type. But I want 2 different people recording the answers, because sometimes one person will hear something that another person might miss. Documentarian, I want somebody taking video or pictures or both, actually video, of the entire interview. That way, in case you forgot something, you want to look back on it, you can go look back on the video. Audience manager, I want one person to be in charge of the audience. This means everybody else who is not, let's say we're doing Brazil next week, everybody else who is not doing Brazil, what if they have a question they want to ask during the interview? I don't want them to interrupt the inquirers, so I'm going to provide everyone with small pieces of paper. And if they want to ask an additional question, or you think an additional question would be a good idea, they can write it down and give it to the audience manager. The audience manager will collect all of these questions and discuss with the people in his group which questions they think need to be asked. That means everybody else in the room is silent. There is no way you can hear everybody unless you are quiet. So the way the interview will run, first the teacher, probably myself or more Narit, will introduce us, and then their class teacher will introduce them. Then the people asking the questions, the inquirers, will do a personal introduction of who they are and why are they asking these questions. Because it makes the other class feel better when they know who are these people asking us all these questions. They'd like to know a little bit more about you. During the interview, at least 2 members of your group must be recording all the answers, as I said before, and I explained how the audience members can contribute questions on little slips of paper and give them to the audience manager. At the end, it's always nice to thank the class that you're interviewing for spending time with you, taking time out of their day to help you out, and always, always say thank you and tell them to have a good day and say goodbye. After we finish the Skype, we'll have a 10-minute discussion just so we can discuss everything that happened and what we learned today. Anything that, any information that was recorded during the interview will be in a Google Doc, and the video will also be posted to a Google Doc, and that way the people from the group can use all that information to put into their presentations. After our Skype, for homework, everybody is going to have to write a reflection. This means you will have to write a journal entry. It'll be at least 6 sentences, and hopefully you'll answer at least these 3 questions. How are these students the same as you? How are these students different than you? And one thing that you found interesting about today's Skype. You will do that for homework and then turn it into your English teacher the following day. If you have any questions, you can review this video again. I will be back on Monday and I will answer any questions you have. I will be in school on Tuesday actually, and I'll be able to answer any questions you have before our Skype, which will be on Wednesday, November 14th at 10:15. So I can't wait to see all of you guys. I'm really excited, and do a really good preparation for this, because the better we're prepared, the smoother the Skype will go. All right, see you soon. Get to work.